Welcome back. This is part 2 of project 1. So I've already started up SketchUp here. I'm just going to click on my project 1 recent file. And what we're going to do today is set up a layout page for our project. So we've already gone through creating the project, and I'll link part 1 if you're interested in learning how to draw this. So what we're going to do is we're going to place these 4 views in a layout page. So you have a link down here at the bottom left for layout, 3D warehouse, extension warehouse, and extension manager. We're going to be using the layout. So we're going to click send to layout. So what that's going to do is start up the layout program. So what layout does, it's a program that helps us to annotate our projects. So in SketchUp, we draw. We create the surface model or solid model. And then in layout, we can annotate it or draw it or add like dimensions and notes and that kind of thing. So it's going to come up with this choose a template dialog. So I'm going to pick title block, and I'm going to use tabloid. Tabloid is 11 by 17, but you can see here it gives you quite a few choices here. So I'm going to use this tabloid landscape for my template. Okay, and then let's go to, oh, you know what? Actually, I don't want to use that one. Close. Sorry. That was my daughter. Anyway, let's go to File New again. And let's go to title block, and let's use, here we go. This is what I wanted to use. We'll use tabloid landscape. Okay, and it gives you a little spot for your logo here at the top left corner. So maybe before we start bringing in images, we'll make a simple logo, and I'll show you how to insert the JPEG image in the corner here. So let's go back into SketchUp for a moment. And I'm going to do a simple model. So wait for SketchUp to come up again. And this is going to also introduce us to 3D text. So we're going to be doing a couple of new things here. So I'm going to change my style to construction document. This will give me a white background with no horizon. These other ones, like the architecture design style, it gives you a horizon. But I'm going to use construction document style. And then here at my origin, I'm just going to draw a circle. There we go. And then let's do a push-pull. So we'll give it some thickness, make like a background here. And let's measure this. So I'm going to use my tape measure tool, and I just want to get a sense of what the distance is across. So it's about 3 feet. Okay, it could be any size. So I've made my disc about 3 feet. So the text I want to put in here is going to be about, let's try about 10 inches for the size of the text. Maybe a foot. Okay, so we have this tool that I haven't shown you before called 3D Text. So I'm going to click on 3D Text. Now I have this font called Arc that I created a while back, and it has like a more stylistic appearance. But you can use whatever font you want. If you have the Pro version, it gives you a choice of any font that you have currently installed. And I'll put a link for this architecture font if you want to use that font for your project. I'm going to use it for this one. So I'm going to make the height 1 foot. And then the extrusion distance, that's how far it sticks out, I'm going to go 1 inch. So it's going to have a little bit of raised portion to it. And then I'm just going to do my initials. So I have my initials of DM. So that looks about right. So there. And then I'll do my second initial, M. There we go. I'm going to overlap them. And these come in as groups, by the way. What a group is just a collection of elements. So you can move these all as one element. Okay. So let's go into top view here. So I'm in my views. This is my views box that I opened up when we first started SketchUp back in part 1 of this. And I'm going to hit top. And then I'm just going to center these up just by eye. Let's move it off a little bit. Let's move it back in. Sometimes you have to move it off and then back in again. Okay. There we go. All right. Now, what I want to do is I want to paint these all different colors. So this is another tool we haven't used before called paint. It looks like a paint bucket. It's called the paint bucket tool. And I'm just going to apply different colors to this. So we're going to go over here in our default tray to our paint area, our materials, and then I'm going to pick colors here. And then I'll just pick some sort of neutral color for the background here, like well, it's already gray. Let's try actually something like a light brown here. There we go. And then I am going to, let's use red and blue here. So I'm going to go to red, like a light red for my letter D, and then a blue, a light blue would be nice for the M. Okay, and then let's modify this, and I'm going to make the letter D stick up a little bit more so I don't have this overlapping here. So the way you update a group is you double click on the group and it puts you into this editing mode. Now I can use push-pull and make this come up a little bit thicker. As soon as you're done editing the group, then you click off. See? So now we're back to it being one element. Okay, so this looks pretty good. So I'm going to do an export of a 2D graphic for this. So let me first save my drawing. Okay. So let's call this, hang on. There we go. Let's call this logo. Great. Now we're going to export as 2D graphic. And then I'm going to save this in my SketchUp projects folder, and we'll call this logo. Now I'm going to have to crop this. And don't worry about this origin here. This won't show up in the 2D graphic. Only this will show up. Okay, so let's go into the Paint app. You should have this already loaded. So I'm going to open up my logo file that I just created. There it is. Now I don't want all this extra white space, so I'm going to crop this. So I'm just going to draw a fence around this. That looks fine. All right, now let's save the image. And now I'm going to go back in the layout and insert it. So we're back in layout. So I'm going to zoom in over here using the wheel up, and then I'm going to do an insert. So there's my logo JPEG file. By the way, if you can't see the extensions on your computer, you'll have to turn those on. I'll show you how to do that in a moment. Okay, so there's my image. And then I'm going to scale this down so it fits in this area. So I'm holding down Shift to keep the same ratio. And then I'm going to make it a little bit smaller here. Let's go a little bit smaller. Now let's bring it over here. Okay, I'm going to delete the old logo image. And let's fit it in place here. You can see these little alignment lines pop on. There's my logo. Okay. And then down here, you could fill this out with whatever information you want. Okay, so I'm going to call this one project number 1. And then in the description, let's go to drawn by first. You can put in your name. There. And then in description, just call it project 1. Or whatever you want to call it. All right, now let's bring in the images. So I've already saved my SketchUp file with the different scenes. So let's go ahead and do a save as first. So I'm in my SketchUp projects folder. I'm going to call this project number 1. And it's going to put a layout extension at the end of the file name. And then I'm going to do an insert. And I'm going to insert my project 1. So give it a moment. And there's my scene. So I'm going to go through scenes 1 through 4. So I'm going to click on my scene. Sometimes you have to put your mouse on the edge here, and then you can change which scene you want to show. Now this is linking back to the original SketchUp file. So if I make any changes to this, it's going to change here as well, as long as I update the model reference. So I'm going to go to scene 1. There it is. So I'm just going to put 4 scenes up here. So let's move this to the top left corner, and I'm going to reduce the scale. So I'm going to hold down Shift, and that will keep it with a ratio of 1 to 1. Okay, now let's go back and do another insert. Project 1. Right click. Hang on. Let's try that again. Scene 2 now. Now, if you want to crop out this extra white space, you can do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a box around my shape, and I need to turn off fill. And by default, the fill is turned on. So over here in the default tray under shape style, you can just click off fill. And then do a crossing fence. So start down here somewhere and fence over the shape you just drew, and it could be whatever size, whatever shape. You can do a circle or whatever. And then right click and do a create clipping mask. See, so now it reduces the size of your image edge. Okay, now let's insert the next scene. So this will be scene 3 now. I'll leave it like that. And then scene 4. And I'll reduce the size of this one too. Great. Now if you want to output this as PDF, you can do that. So let's do a file save first. Oh, and the default layout file comes with a cover page as well. You may want to get rid of that. So over here we have pages. We have a cover page and an inside page. I'm just going to keep the inside page. The cover page is like a title sheet. So we're going to get rid of that one. Okay, so all I'm left with is this inside page. And you can rename this whatever you want. See, I can call it whatever I want. Okay, just by right-clicking and hitting rename. All right, so to export out as PDF, you hit File, Export PDF. So let's save it into our SketchUp Projects folder. We'll just keep it as project1.pdf. And then it's going to ask you for the export file name. We've already set that up. The pages that you want to print, the output resolution, image compression if you want to do that. You don't have to. So all the settings are correct for me. So I'm going to hit export. And then if you have it set up this way, this is the PDF file that I just exported. All right. Thank you very much. That's it. So I'm going to put together a project 2, and you might be interested in watching that video as well. Thanks.